Do 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 do. All right. So yeah, the day flew today a little bit. But also, yeah, I'm gonna explain. So, uh, just see if this song isn't too loud. Yeah, I think it's fine. So, hi, my name is Elf. I make a visual novel in 30 days. That's at least that's the idea anyway. Um, so sixth day. Um, I'm writing the scene that I wanted to write yesterday and the day before. I just started it, and I started not too long ago because today was one of the days that I won't keep repeating myself, because repeating myself will kind of get repetitive of me saying the same thing over and over again, and repetitive manner will get repetitive, and so I won't be repeating myself. Um, uh, but as with many days, I procrastinated a lot, but I managed to get the scene started, so that's already good. Um, the idea of this scene is again to show Noah as the supposed masculine figure that he's pretending to be, and Zack as no, oh well, not really look up to, kind of. Zack kind of looks up, not looks up, but like he sees the image that Nohan projects as this macho man. Is like, I wish I could be this guy, and Nohan's like, dude, that's an act. Like, it's just mostly for the cameras, just to sell like the movies. He doesn't really want all that. He wants the money, obviously, because money, money good. Uh, but like, uh, in this scene, Zack's gonna find out about Nohan being macho man is like an act, and gonna be frustrated. Nohan's like, I don't want this type of life. This isn't for me. Then Zack's like, you're ungrateful for what you have. Blah blah blah. Real men will be blah blah blah. And anyway, uh, I keep thinking to myself like, oh, this story needs more refinement. I need to like sit down and really think how each of the things are gonna work. But as like doing this in 30 days, I know exactly like have the time. But that's not necessarily a bad thing per se, because the thing is, I'm not supposed to like keep working on this for days and days and days. Like 30 days would be the time I wish I used to write, like refine the story itself. But I wouldn't, or at least 2 weeks. But like, I won't spend that much time in it because I need this finish and playable. And then after the 30 days, as the idea is to have this finish uh and playable, then I can come back and continue to work on it, rewrite some things that didn't work more on the visual stuff like that. Uh, the important part is not to have a like 100% complete polished visual novel in 30 days. That's ludicrous. I don't have the money, the people, the time, no. But the idea is to make a playable visual novel in those 30 days, and then refine whatever rough edges there is, or just move on wherever feel like it, honestly. So even if I keep thinking, oh, this needs more work, yes, but it's not written in stone. I can just come back and work on it later. It doesn't even need to be after the 30 days. It could be like a year or two from now. It doesn't. The word won't end. So yeah. Oh, and since I intend to have the game in each IO, I can leave like different versions. So over time, if I work on it more, I can just leave other updates there. So it's fine, really. So it's like letting go of the idea, oh, this is not good enough, and that doesn't matter, because I'm not doing this to have like the greatest visual novel ever written. I'm writing this as like I have this done. That's it. No, I don't consider myself perfectionist. As I say this, I bother by the way I pronounce the word, but let's pretend that didn't happen. I'm not perfectionist. I don't have the fucking patience to sit down and redo the thing over and over and over again. That tires me out and just throwing the garbage. Just tiring. But I still worry a lot about something being good or finished or something like that. So when when I'm making this, I'm keeping in mind like, yeah, it needs improvement as always, but I'm gonna keep that for the future, not for now. For now, the priority is have it done, have it playable, have something concrete in the world, and then I improve on it. Because if I keep wanting to improve every little thing, it's not gonna happen. So anyway. Of course, I want this to be good. It's not like, oh, I don't care if it's good or not, as long as it's not about that. But like, of course, I want to keep as high quality as I can make in 30 days. But like, the polish quality comes later, after the 30 days, because again, I'm trying to teach myself to finish things rather than just start and finish things instead of just having them in my head. So 3,500 words so far, which almost, I think I'm halfway there, actually, a bit more, because there is this scene with Nohan, and then one with Isabella, and then the final scene. If I have time, I'm gonna write the prologue, I guess. Not prologue, the epilogue. But maybe the epilogue I leave for like after the 3rd days, just so I have like something that starts and finishes with the story, because the epilogue is more like, oh, I'm writing more stories, more to come, ooh, mystery. I don't think it's necessary for this story, honestly. So yeah, if you think the last live stream was short, don't worry, this one is probably gonna be shorter. Because I still wanna finish the scene and start the next one. And yeah. Since I don't have a TTRPG session today, I think I'm just gonna keep writing this. I didn't start this yesterday because I was so tired and nothing was coming out. I was like, I'm exhausted. If I sleep in bed now, I'm gonna like black out. So I'm just gonna call it a day. And yeah. And then I procrastinated to start this today. So here we are. But I started working on it, and that's important. Regardless if it took me uh, 5 hours of my day to really start. Not five, like 4.5, 4 hours to start. I started. It's not ideal. It's way better than nothing. So no. And I also revised some text, some stuff, some things like the ending here. I made that the Ninja Spider put John and is gonna put the other hostages inside a protective bubble so they aren't attacked by surprise by Zack, and then gonna put everyone there and gonna protect him there and gonna beat the shit out of Zack. That's his plan anyway. That's not exactly how gonna go, but no. But in this scene, the important thing about this scene is not just showing Zack's insecurity with his own masculinity, but also showing that he is becoming more and more dangerous as a psychic, and he's starting to be able to hurt really badly, or at least hurt the Ninja Spider and fight him with his own style, because the in hand-to-hand combat, Zack has like 0 chance of winning at all. But if Zack uses the advantage he has, that he's basically in his domain and can like bend reality in crazy ways, he can, without much consequence, he can actually gain enough edge to put the Ninja Spider in a complicated situation. And of course, I also rewrote a bit of the Ninja Spider saying, he said originally to bring the big guns, but I make it big guns or the big equalizer, but like before, so like I don't want to do this, maybe overkill or maybe it's deadly necessary, but this time I wrote like he doesn't want to do it because there are the men in black outside, which is the SP unity, the people that are in the part of the government in the US that is in charge for investigating, dealing with psychic phenomena, strange things anyway, the X-Files of the setting basically. And doing that in front of, doing his big thing in front of the man back's not the best idea, because there are things that he belongs to a Ninja Spider. Things of the setting, the Ninja Spider belongs to a secret society, and there are things the secret society hides from the government and the general population, and doing this kind of stuff in front of them is not ideal. It's because here's the thing, like right in the setting, it's a urban fantasy setting, word like ours, and I did say this in the introduction video if you want to watch it, but basically in the 50s people found out that psychics exist, and there's also mutants, people with superpowers essentially, or some just have weak quirks. In general, we can understand as people that born with superpowers, although saying mutants, it's complicated because it's not just genetic, but it doesn't matter here. What matters is the general population knows that there are things that a lot of things that people weren't sure if was real or not are real, like psychic powers and spirits and something like that. That they know for a fact that it is real. Things that are hidden that they don't know it's real, like vampires, werewolves, and magic. In this case, the magic is learning how to do what learning. Basically, the idea is like psychics are born learning to do like specific things, and a mage can learn to do those things. So technically, the magic systems like psychic and mages, they do their effects in with the same source, but mages learned how to do that, and psychics were born doing that. A psychic can also become a mage, but the knowledge to become a mage is hidden. The Ninja Spider, although I think I actually call him a psychic a few times, he's technically a mage. He was born with a power, but like doesn't matter right in this story. What matters is like he learned to do magic, and what he's calling the big equalizer or big gun, which I'm calling, I can't believe it's not domain expansion because conceptually it is, but that is a spell. Zack is able to do something like that instinctively inside the studio because he had an anomalous awakening. It happens very rarely, but it happens. Basically, he expanded a innate domain inside the studio by instinct, and he doesn't even know. This is like he like instinctively kind of knows that space is his and he can do kind of whatever. But he doesn't have first he doesn't have the imagination to really pull up bullshit like taking away the air so people don't breathe. He isn't that imaginative, but he knows enough that he can like spawn a train to run over you, like he tried to do. And a lot of his mindset is inside a movie studio mindset, so like this aesthetic. So anyway, the Ninja Spider's domain, I have to get a better name, it's not called domain, but the domain in this case, it's made to do with people like Zack that create their own area of zone bubble of reality and fight these people. So the thing is, this ability to expand your inner universe outwards, it's not something you can just do unless you learn to do it, aka mages can learn to do that. Psychics, they either learn through instinct, like Zack did anomalous, because he had a unusual awakening, but he isn't like he doesn't really know, like if his domain, so to speak, his zone of reality were to be taken down, he doesn't know how to put it up again. Maybe by instinct he may try, but he doesn't know how to do it because he did it almost like a reflex. While the Ninja Spider, he studied and trained to do it consciously. So that's like the difference. And that's important because the Men in Black, which is the SP unity in terms of like the actual name in the setting, the Men in Black is kind of the slightly derogatory term for them, but it's also an apt term. Like it does describe them well, but like they know a lot of weird things, but like I said, depends on the level of the hierarchy they are. And they know that certain psychics create these zones that can bend reality or apparently bend reality, but they know this is like a very, very rare thing. So the Ninja Spider doesn't want to show it because that tends to call too much attention. Because vampires, werewolves, and mages, they tend to hide themselves for reasons that I'll get into in my magic video, the video on the magic system for the setting. But basically they hide themselves for several reasons actually. And sometimes they can hide as mutants or psychics or something like that up until a certain point. Because like, for example, teleporters, someone that can teleport. There's one registered case in the history of the known public of a teleporter, and the government of the time failed to catch them. No surprise, a teleporter. But mages know how to. Some mages, not all of them, but mages can learn how to teleport. They can do spells that allows them to teleport, and they can teach that to other people. That kind of knowledge, the mages hide it extremely well because the governments of every country of the world are absolutely crazy for a teleporter for very very obvious reasons. So there are things that, like, if a mage is seen doing it, it's fine, like shooting lightning from your fingers, it's fine. It's not ideal, it's still gonna call attention for yourself because the men in black may still investigate it, but uh like teleporting, creating the zones of reality are still technically possible within psychics, but they are so rare that it calls way too much attention, and the secret societies don't really like that at all. And there are things that mages do and werewolves and vampires do, and normal people, even psychics, can't really do. Like, technically, it is possible and has happened for a psychic to be born controlling time, but that it's so fucking rare that, like, there's no registered case for it at all. And there, of course, there are mages that study and manipulate time. So there are the mages that study and practice time magic are really hide it really well. Meanwhile, there are humans that are mutants that can regenerate, can heal their wounds, but it's not like Wolverine and Deadpool that can get shot in the head and get up again. If you're a human, no matter how mutant you are, if you get shot in the head, you're dead. Like, there's no recovery, you're fucking dead. No, you're still human. A vampire and a werewolf, for instance, it's another matter. If they get shot in the head, they might die actually, it's impossible. But not necessarily. They are able to come back from that sometimes, depending on the condition where they're shot, how much damage the bullet caused. It's possible. So, and not only that, if they get shot multiple times and you are like a mutant, human mutant with like regeneration, you still going to the hospital. Even if you can recover fast, you still need medical attention. No, it's not. You're not Wolverine. You're not Deadpool. You're not the Hulk. You're not that guy. Uh, but a vampire or werewolf basically never go to the hospital because their bodies can put themselves back together in a fantastical way. So, um, so they are they can like get away with some stuff, but they prefer not to. So they use the fact that they are living in a quote unquote X-Men world, one world where X-Men wouldn't be very strange, to hide the fact that they aren't even human, and some humans can learn how to manipulate the psychic force and stuff like that. Um, I said this is gonna be very long. I'm spend most time talking about lore, but basically, the Ninja Spider doesn't want to do his domain expansion because the Men in Black will take notice of that and call attention to himself, and the calling attention to himself isn't like the biggest deal ever because lore reasons, but still a problem, and ideally he doesn't want to do that, but he will do that in this story because because I said so, because it's cool. It's really cool. And the funny thing is, the best part is, I I conceptualized the idea of these domains before I watched and even knew about Jujutsu Kaisen, because the idea of like having an internal universe externalized, it's not new to Jujutsu Kaisen. That existed for a bajillion years. I believe there's part of Buddhism in there, but also there's a lot of spiritual and cult knowledge about that. But basically, like, if you see, even on anime and manga, you have reality bubbles from the, I don't remember the actual name, like the Fate series. It's not called Fate series, something else, but I don't remember. The territory from Yu Yu Hakusho. I think that territories aren't canon, but still an example. And even Bankai, which are usually they don't create an area, they are still an externalization of your true self. So they're still conceptually the same thing, even though they are in practice very different. So I got this idea of the like as above so below, as within so without. I thought, oh, I can make like a power spell or something like that, that you externalize your inner universe outwards and like leaks to the reality like that. and it's gonna be like super powerful because you're inside someone's universe and they can manipulate. And then I accidentally recreated domain expansions without knowing. Like, what I did take from Jujutsu Kaisen, however, was more people being able to do that. Believe it or not, in the setting was imagined just the ninja spider being able to do it, but I don't thought, I think it's way cooler if like it's a high level ability, but there's still other people that can do it. And also anti-domain techniques, like you either create a mini domain within yourself to protect or something like that. You have spells and techniques against these things that I need a better name than domain. And also another thing that inspired me before I even knew about Jujutsu Kaisen was Mage Ascension. Mage Ascension is a TTRPG in the same universe of Vampire the Masquerade if you played Redemption or Bloodlines. Uh, which, by the way, Vampire Raid Bloodline. Yes, that's how you write it. So if you play this game, Mage Ascension is in the same universe, and basically you are awakened to magic and you can do magic based on your belief. It's a really philosophical, esoteric game, and it's really cool. I love it. And in this game, you can buy a with the points in the shit and stuff, you can have something called a sanctum, which is an area of reality that every magic you do, it's coincident, because if you do magic that normal people find unbelievable, reality is gonna slap you in the face. But inside your sanctum, everything inside your belief system, instead of the general population, it's coincidental. It's okay. It can happen normally. So the sanctum, it's an area of reality, and usually a small room, or at most a room in a house that has been acclimated to the magic and the belief of the mage. And I thought, oh, this universe expanding stuff that I'm thinking, not universe expand, the internal universe outwards, like it's kind of like a sanctum, a temporary sanctum, because you can make a more permanent one over time, constructing it and acclimating reality gradually. Which again, if you do something like that in an emergency, like an emergency sanctum, that's literally a domain expansion. So not literally, but it's very close to conceptually be a domain expansion. It would give you a huge advantage in the game. I don't know how to do that in the game, but it's probably possible with the right stuff. In Nocturnal Dance, in this setting of this story I'm writing, I basically took inspiration from almost everything ever that I like. Not everything, but a few things. One of the things that I got inspiration from was not just Mage Ascension, but like the entire World of Darkness inspired me a bit. And basically with basically the idea is to have like these zones of realities, bubbles, is again, for a lack of better term, these domains. I'm still gonna grab a cool name for it, but not at this moment. But these domains, they are like, either they happen in like unusual circumstances, like the anomalous awakening of Zack, or when a mage learns how to do that. It is possible for a psyche to learn how to do that, but like without a guidance of the like magical text that mages hide, or the guidance of another psychic that knows how to do it, even then it's a bit hard. It's still something hard to learn. Usually the psychic is not gonna learn how to do that, but anyway. The specific idea of why I created the ninja spiders, I still call him domain, but his zone of reality is because the reason why I created it is because I was reading SCPs and I was reading about reality warpers and these bubbles of reality, and reminded me of another thing from Mage Ascension, which are the Marauders. They are mages that went insane, and instead, and they create like bubbles of reality that inside those bubbles around, they create bubbles of reality like around them. So inside their bubbles, reality is distorted through by their madness, and uh the when reality slaps them for is going to slap them for doing something unbelievable, what most people believe to be unbelievable, instead of them receiving the slap, this slap, which in the game is called paradox, goes around this bubble and gets any other mages that are not marauders, are not insane. So I remember that, and again, I was reading about reality warpers. That's why this is called reality warper, reality bender in the SCP wiki, something like that. And I thought, oh, what if the ninja spider, which is a character that I have for forever, had like his own version of it to combat this type of reality bubble. And again, taking every other experience I talk about, I kind of created that, and this is why this exists. And why I'm gonna use it, because this is the type of situation that the ninja spider would use this ability, although he can use it at other times. Taking a page out of Jujutsu Kaisen takes a lot of energy, a lot of effort. It's tiring to use. Although unlike Jujutsu Kaisen, there isn't like a single technique in your body that would get exhausted from expanding a domain, because in this setting, no power is necessarily unique. There might be unique manifestations of a power, or kind of unique, or unique combinations. But like, if someone has super strength, other people also have it. If someone can manipulate dreams, there are other people in the world that have it. It isn't unique. It isn't this type of story type of setting that everyone has a unique power. No, there are several powers, and people kind of sometimes have the same powers. Um, and as such, and even there are people, there are mutants that have more than one mutant power, so they can have super strength, super speed, telekinesis, telepathy, teleportation, and of course, more than one power is already a bit rare, and having each more than half is going to more and more rare. But it is possible to have. There isn't like a limitation of how many powers you can have. Not really. So basically, this domain expansion in this setting is basically limited of how much you know about the magic system and how much energy you have to like keep doing it. And since I'm doing this setting also adapting to Cypher system, I'm going to probably make this an ability, high tier ability, that costs like 10 intellect points or something, or at least 6, but probably 10 or 8. I could also make a cipher version of it, I guess. If you don't understand anything about what I'm talking about, just don't worry. I'm talking about this system called cipher system, made by Monte Cook. It's a generic system to like adapt anything for a TTRPG. It's really good. I recommend it. I'm playing with it for one of the yesterday's TTRPG session was going to be an zombie apocalypse in this system, and in the future I intend to actually use Cypher system to adapt Jujutsu Kaisen to a TTRPG instead of using D&D for everything. Why don't you use a D&D for everything? Because there is more than one system in the world, because not everything fits in D&D, or fits well, at least. Anything can fit in any TTRPG system, it's just not always a great option. And we have options, so. But anyway, I talked a lot more than I think I would, thought I would, whatever. I thought a lot, and this is one of many reasons why I rather record a video than doing live stream, but whatever. So, I talked a lot, more mostly. Uh, I know that a lot of what I'm talking about won't translate to the story because the story isn't about that. I'm I'm trying to do a approach that's actually a lot harder because I'm not gonna explain most things. I'm gonna try to, but I'm trying to like show through context first and maybe explain later sometimes, and treat this as was any other day in the setting. Uh, Kind of like the movie Constantine does. No, the one with Keanu Reeves. This one. I actually really like this movie. It got a renaissance of sorts in the recent years, which is fun because this movie is good. This movie could kind of fit in Nocturnal Dance. Not gonna lie, not kind of, but yeah, it could fit for sure. Like if you want inspiration for Nocturnal Dance, like in the RPG or story, this is one of the things you could take inspiration from. There are many. World of Darkness, like I said, Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse, Mage the Ascension, and anything from World of Darkness or Chronicles of Darkness can fit. The Crow, the graphic novel, and the movie will also fit. Um, and there are a lot of things of that matter, but what matters is I'm trying to get this approach like you can understand enough to context where like you get the story, you get why he can't just teleport everyone away because Zack's gonna teleport after them and gonna bring his mayhem, his domain, his problems to the outside world, and he's taking everyone inside this protective bubble in his shield so Zack doesn't get to them. By having everyone in a single place is actually easier to the ninjas part to protect people because they are in one place instead of having to teleport all the time to different places. I'm trying to show this, like, kind of explain it a little bit with John, because John questions why don't you take us away if you can teleport, and it's like he's gonna follow us, doesn't matter. Better to keep like inside, in a semi-controlled environment, and taking outside and just fucking knows what. And I'm trying to show other things like to context, since the visual novel is gonna have visuals that kind of show the magic happening, and also sound effects. I'm gonna grab a sound effect for teleportation that is gonna sound like a small thunder or something like that. Demonstrates the dislocation of air, because when you teleport in the setting, the air where you were takes space where you used to be, and the air where you land dislocates from where you are because you're occupied in that space now. Explain like this was super weird, but I can draw later. But basically, when you teleport, there are ways to teleport to be more discreet, but usually when you teleport, there are kind of two booms, not necessarily a boom, but like it creates wind and air dislocation in two places: the place where you were and the place where you went to. Like, anyway, I think that's enough explanation, lore. And again, I gotta finish the scene, so I'm gonna finish the stream here. But I want to thank everyone for watching this. Today's music was provided by Whitepad Audio. They make they, I don't know, make free music for people. I'll shout out in the beginning of stream field of these channels. This is one of them. This was the one that was playing in this stream, just to have like the proper credits. And anyway, I'm gonna keep writing this scene. I kind of have an idea of what is going to happen, more like general vibes. The details I figure out as I write. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow. And tomorrow is gonna be officially the first week done of this crazy challenge that I decided to make because I went insane. Anyway, uh, bye, see you tomorrow.